Well, now that we have our three axioms for an incidence geometry in place, now that we have our three ground rules, let us prove some theorems that use these axioms. Let us prove some theorems in an incidence geometry. And we'll start really, really basic. Lines that are not parallel intersect in one point. Okay, so let's talk about what we mean by being parallel or not being parallel. You may have a lot of remembrances about parallel lines from high school geometry. You may remember that parallel lines have the same slope, but we don't even use that concept in our course. Simply put, lines that are parallel never meet. So what this theorem asserts is that if two lines don't meet, then they only intersect once. I'm sorry, if two lines do meet, if the lines are not parallel, if two lines meet, then they meet once and only once. That's what this theorem asserts. That's what we're going to prove. So we're going to be given that lines are not parallel. We're going to show that the intersection is exactly one point. So let's say that. Let's set it up. Suppose lines L and M are not parallel. And then let's tell them what we're going to show. We're going to show L and M intersect in one point. So let's see how we set this thing up. We're going to suppose that two lines are not parallel. Well, what does it mean if they're not parallel? Well, if they're not parallel, then they intersect. Let point P be on L and M because L is not parallel to M. And then let's figure out what goes wrong. So here's what we're really saying. Here's a line L, here's a line M, and there's a point P. What we're really trying to show is that the line doesn't swing back around and hit L again. That's what we're trying to show. So we're trying to show that there is no other point Q where this line swings back around and hits L. And so this seems like a perfect opportunity to use a proof by contradiction. So we're going to suppose there is another point Q different from P on L and M. And now, as with all proofs by contradiction, we think to ourselves, what goes wrong? So if we go back to our three ground rules, what goes wrong? Well, we have a pair of distinct points. And when we have a pair of distinct points, there's supposed to be exactly one line with the two of those points. But in our case, we have two lines that have those 2 points. This contradicts axiom 1 because there can be only one line through P and Q. Therefore, the intersection of L and M is 1 point. There. There. Our first proof. Interestingly, we can prove the converse. The converse says let L and M be two lines if there exists a unique point P on L and M, then L and M are distinct and non-parallel. That's odd. Is that true? Is that true? There's L. There's M. There's P. And there's no other point on L and M. So showing that they're non-parallel, that's easy because there's an intersection point. So this part is easy. It's the this part. How do we show that L and M are distinct? Well, we have to show that there's a point on L that's not on M, or a point on M that's not on L. Well, how would we do that? Well, how do these help out? Oh, how do these help out? Every line L, there's at least two distinct points P and Q, both on L, which means that there's some other point Q that's on line L. Well, how do we know that Q is not on line M? Well, it's the same contradiction. If Q was also on M, that would violate axiom 1. So this point Q that's on line L cannot be on line M, and therefore the two lines are distinct. Okay? I didn't write that up formally, but that is how the argument would go. I'm going to do one more if that's okay. Because I want to help you avoid a pitfall that a lot of people proving things in incidence geometries fall for. If L is any line, then there exists at least one point P such that P does not lie on L. That's a curious thing to want to prove, isn't it? That's curious. Does not lie on L. I got help coming from here, right? I got help coming from here. This setup has to be, right? This setup has to be. It has to be that in our geometry, there are 3 points that do not all lie on the same line, right? Like this has to happen. And so here's the pitfall. Here's what people do badly. They say there have to be 3 points that don't all lie on the same line, right? So there they are. We're going to let this be our line L. And so there's P and it doesn't lie on L. That's not how the logic goes here. The logic says that L can be any line. So it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be something over here, it could be something over here. Like, we don't know. L can be any line. So we don't start with these 3 points. We start, let L be any line. Any line. And then we bring these points in. By axiom 3, there exist 3 points. Don't even name them. That do not lie on the same line. By axiom 3, this has to exist. So now we either get involved in casework or we make a general argument. If we get involved in casework, then we have to deal with well, what if the line looks like this? Well, what if the line looks like this? Well, what if the line is somewhere over here? Like, how do we do all of that? Or we just say, what is the greatest number of these points that could possibly lie on line L? Here's our L. Oh, wow. There's our line L. There's line L. What is the greatest number of these points that could possibly lie on that line? Right? 2. It can't be that all 3 of them lie on line L, because the 3 points don't lie on any line, so they don't all lie on L. It must follow that at least one of these 3 points does not lie on L, semicolon. Otherwise, the 3 points would all lie on the same line, contradicting axiom 3. Call this point that does not lie on L by P. Thus, P does not lie on L as needed. Okay, so that's the trap here. The trap is starting with the 3 points from axiom 3 instead of starting with what you're given. What you're given is a line, and then we go from there. Okay, the rest will be up to you. Looking forward to seeing what you do with other incidence theorems.